Michigan on Saturday, Lions on Sunday. It's not quite true in the postseason or in the regular season in this case for the Detroit Lions. It was Monday Night Football, a rematch of the NFC Championship game last season versus San Francisco in the same place where they lost that game, but they got their revenge. What a game this was, I tell you what. 2 interceptions by Purdy, picked off by Joseph Kirby. Had 2 interceptions, his 8th and 9th of the season in this game after it looked like Michigan couldn't stop a snail, or the Detroit couldn't stop a snail. 2 interceptions was the key to this game because both offenses were unstoppable. Gibbs and Goff, sounds like a law firm. They laid down the law in this game. St. Brown, Laporta, and Reynolds were workhorses as well. What a win for Detroit with no defense yet again this week for their record-breaking 14th win in a season. Goff was 26 of 34 for 303 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Gibbs had 18 carries for 117 yards. That's a 6.5 average, and he had a touchdown. But he also had 4 catches for 46 yards, an 11.5 average. Reynolds, without Montgomery, we have to rely on Reynolds, the third stringer, and he produced 7 carries for 31 yards, 2 catches for 35 yards, giving Gibbs enough of a spell. Man, St. Brown had 8 catches in this game, only for 60 yards, and he had a receiving touchdown. But that pitch back on the hook and lateral to Laporta was amazing. That is unselfishness. That is buy-in to the team, and that's what Detroit has. They're the best team in the NFL. Even today, missing 10 starters from the start of the season on defense. Williams is coming into his own. God, I love that guy too. Had 5 catches for 77 yards, 15.4 average, and a touchdown. And then Laporta is always a mainstay. He's a beast. Had 6 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. So it comes down now to Minnesota in the last regular season game in Detroit. The winner gets the number 1 seed in the NFC, and the loser is the 5 seed, is what I heard the broadcasters say. Now, I'll tell you about what I think about them here coming up, but I didn't like how they were San Francisco heavy, but hey, Detroit's supposed to be the most amazing dominant team this season. Maybe you talk about them a little bit. But man, this game was epic. I'm going to go through the drives, and there weren't many, but they were very eventful. In the first quarter, the first drive, San Francisco got the ball because Detroit elected to defer to the second half. Conley had a 13-yard catch. Debo had a 4-yard run. Debo then had a 4-yard reverse for 9 yards. A play action to Kittle for 18 yards. And then a reverse to Pearsall for 4 yards to the other side of the field. And Gruendo was amazing for San Francisco. You're going to hear his name a lot for them. He had a 5-yard run. And then on 3rd and 1, Detroit stuffed their run play. And on 4th and 1, though, Purdy had the QB sneak for 2 yards. Jennings blocked Arnold into the stands, and then Kirby Joseph or someone came over and had his back, so it was offsetting penalties on that. And then Pearsall had the 3-yard touchdown catch. So San Francisco punched it in first. It was 7-0. It was an 11-play, 61-yard drive that took 7 minutes off the clock, and that is exactly what they needed to do versus this high-flying Detroit offense at home. But Detroit answered back. Williams had a 3-yard catch. Gibbs had a 5-yard run. On 3rd and 2, Gibbs had a 6-yard run. And then a 21-yard stretch play where Goff almost couldn't get it to him because he cannot move at all. But man, is he a dart thrower. He's a dart thrower. So, and that's perfect for what we have in this system and with Ben Johnson. Then a reverse pass. It looked like it was going to be a reverse and then a pass. It was a disaster. It was a loss of yards. But Reynolds erased all of that with a 26-yard catch and run. And then Jefferson had an 8-yard run. Who's this Jefferson guy? I haven't seen him all season. Did he play in the last game? Anyway, 3rd and goal. Williams walked in on a motion handoff. So Williams motioned from one side to the other, and then he cut right back, and it was a direct handoff to him, and he walked right in. It was 7-6 because the extra point was blocked. So Detroit punched back, but man, San Francisco blocked that point, and these games come down to points here in the late season, but Detroit ended up handling the situation. San Francisco had the ball and a holding on Detroit negated a sack for them, and then right after that, Granardo had a 5-yard screen, and on 3rd and 4, Pearsall batted the ball to himself. He kept it in bounds, got both feet down before he went out of bounds for 14 yards. Granardo then had an 11-yard run. Kittle was over the middle for 20 yards. And then DJ Reader gave San Francisco a free 5 yards right before the end of the first quarter, and everyone was disappointed. Dan Campbell didn't like it. The second quarter, Husick had a 9-yard touchdown catch. It was evident that 10 starting guys on defense were missed in this game. It was 14-6 San Francisco. They went right down the field twice and scored 2 touchdowns. Detroit had the ball. So Gibbs had a 5-yard run. And on 3rd and 4, Goff to Laporta for 6 yards. Gibbs had a 7-yard run, and then a 16-yard run, and then a holding on Sewell, which never happens. He's a great player. How did that happen? But on 1st and 20, Goff was sacked for 4 more yards by Bosa. Then Gibbs had a 12-yard catch and run, and he shook that guy off his back for an extra 6 yards at the end of that catch and run. And then it was the hook and ladder play, and they threw it short. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You have to throw to the sticks to get the first down. They threw it short, and then San Francisco's defense was just salivating over that. They all came to swarmed Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then he pitched it back to Jameson Williams. And it was a 41-yard touchdown on that play. St. Brown caught it and pitched it back to Williams, and he was gone. Detroit went for 1 here, which was interesting. After their blocked extra point, it was 14-3 San Francisco. And there were 4 possessions, 2 from each team, and all of them were touchdowns to start this game. San Francisco's Jennings had a 9-yard catch. Granardo had a 8-yard run. On 3rd and 7, everyone for Detroit blitzed, and they knew it was going to happen because they picked everybody up. And Pearsall Pearsall, like I said, you're going to hear his name a lot in this video. He was wide open for 40 yards. Purdy scrambled up the gut for a 9-yard touchdown run. They blitzed. They tried to get the edge, left the middle open, and he walked in. So I was thinking, wow, hopefully Detroit can keep up with this team because we cannot stop them. It was 21-13 San Francisco. They were up 8 points. Detroit had the ball with 6 minutes and 13 seconds left in the half. Gibbs was tackled by Gross Matos for a 2-yard loss. But then Goff struck Gibbs right up the middle, fit it right into a window for 19 yards. The game's first incompletion was Goff dirting the ball right here on purpose because there was nothing else available. That's a sign of a smart player. He took a sack later in this game that wasn't as smart, but on this drive, Gibbs had a 7-yard screen, and on 3rd and 3, St. Brown had a 4-yard out route, which was awesome. Reynolds had an 8-yard run, then a 4-yard run. St. Brown had a 14-yard catch. Detroit was moving the ball, and then 2-minute warning. So I was thinking, man, wouldn't it be awesome if Detroit could go eat all this clock, score a touchdown, tie it up, and then they have the ball to start the second half. St. Brown had a 5-yard catch, and on 3rd and 5, San Francisco called a timeout, and I would have too, because they are scoring at will. All 3 possessions were touchdowns for them at that point. 3rd and 5, Gibbs had a 2-yard run. So you knew, Campbell already knew he was going for it on 4th down. You try to get it in a better situation. And San Francisco called another timeout. So on 4th and 3, Goff, instead of going to a check down, went to the end zone, and it was knocked away from Laporta in the end zone, incomplete, and San Francisco took over on downs at their own 8-yard line with 1:13 left. Detroit did everything needed on that drive except a touchdown or a field goal for that matter. A 2-for-1 was in line, and Detroit got the ball because Detroit got the ball at halftime, and that all went out the window. But instead, San Francisco marched down the field, and it looked like they were going to score. Granado caught a bomb for 40 yards, then an 8-yard catch. Then Pearsall had a 6-yard catch. Jennings had an 8-yard catch, but fumbled it backwards out of bounds. This is key because that meant it was 3rd down instead of 1st down. There's a 1:13, or no, excuse me. 3rd and 2, oh, yeah. On 3rd and 2, this is where the offensive pass interference happened, the pick play, and it backed them up. On 3rd and 12, Kittle had a 7-yard catch. And on 4th and 5, Money Moody from Michigan, now with San Francisco, missed the 51-yard field goal, and it was a bullet dodged by Detroit at that point because it was looking like we couldn't stop anybody. That was a sign, that was hope going into the second half. So San Francisco led this game 21-13 at halftime. There were 471 yards on 8 drives in the first half. And it seemed Detroit needed 2 or 3 stops in the second half. Detroit was 5 of 6 on 3rd down, but 0-for-1 on that critical 4th down in the red zone. So here, second half, Detroit came out in the second half to start it with a 10-play, 66-yard drive that took 5 minutes. a play action perfect throw to St. Brown from Goff for 13 yards, and then another one for 6 yards, open the half, and they capitalized on third downs. They were 5 of 6 in the first half. I don't know what they finished, but they were damn good. On 3rd and 5, Williams quieted the crowd for 13 yards, and then Gibbs had a 6-yard run. And on 3rd and 5 again, Allen Robinson came out of nowhere with his 3rd catch of the year for 21 yards. Gibbs had a 4-yard run, and on 3rd and goal, Laporta had that 6-yard touchdown catch, which was contested. Beautiful hands, love Laporta. Detroit went for 2 this time, and Patrick caught it. So it was a 21-21 tie. San Francisco had the ball, and Jennings had a 13-yard catch. Purdy to Pearsall for 39 yards, wide open. We're missing some of our linebackers. We're missing all of our linebackers. Kittle had a 22-yard catch and run. Debo had a shovel pass sweep. It was a nice play for a 5-yard touchdown. Both Ben Johnson and Kyle Shanahan were cooking in this game offensively with the elite offensive play calling. San Francisco took the lead again, 28-21. Detroit's Gibbs then had a 9-yard dump, and then he had a head-to-head block that was amazing that allowed a 28-yard pass to Laporta in this game. Williams then had a 5-yard catch. 3rd and 3, Goff was sacked for 13-yard loss by Bosa, his 2nd sack in the game. I think, man, get rid of it. You cannot scramble while you're running around back there. Just throw it away. But Bates made the 57-yard field goal to make it a 28-24 game. San Francisco was still leading. Detroit's offense is playing much better than their defense at the moment. And at this point, the commentators, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, were starting to piss me off. They were always talking about how great San Francisco's offense is. And, you know, that pissed me off because Detroit's offense is much better, and they're going up against a better defense than San Francisco is in this game. So, you know, hopefully Detroit's defense heard me is what I was thinking at that moment, and they did. Wow, did they? San Francisco they had a ball, and it started with a pass interference on Branch, but Kittle pushed off on that play. I thought it should have been a no call or offensive pass interference. Kittle got away with a lot of stuff in this game. The ball didn't lie, though, because the next play, Kirby Joseph got his 8th interception of the year and returned it to San Francisco's 43-yard line. It seemed the defense did listen to me. Detroit then, Williams had an 8-yard catch. Reynolds had a 9-yard catch. Reynolds had a 6-yard run, mixing it up nicely. St. Brown for 13, and on 3rd and goal, it was incomplete. So what does Dan Campbell do? Field goal does you no good. You're down 4 points. You got to go for it. On 4th and goal, St. Brown had the 4-yard touchdown. Nice. It was a good pass by Goff, led St. Brown to where he needed to be, because if he passed it out, he would have been tackled. He passed it short and in, and St. Brown was able to come to the ball and then go into the end zone. Detroit had their first lead of the game. With 19 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, it was 31-28. In the 4th quarter, well, just before the 4th quarter, Kittle had an 8-yard catch. Then in the 4th quarter, Kittle pushed off on this one. and he caught an 18-yard pass. But on 3rd and 10, Robertson, the defensive back, had a pass breakup for Detroit. Money Moody missed another field goal from 58 yards this time, so a little bit more respectable of a miss. But he did not have his best day. Detroit took over at their 48-yard line. And Gibbs had a 3-yard run, then a 4-yard run. And on 3rd and 3, it was incomplete, but we were close enough. After them couple plays, Bates' 42-yard field goal was good. And now Detroit now led 34-28. So less than a touchdown, and there's still 10.5 minutes in this game. I was still on the edge of my seat. San Francisco had the ball. Purdy was finally sacked by Miles Adams, his first of this year and the second of his career. Then a delay of game on San Francisco, but Pearsall had a 15-yard out, and on 3rd and 5, Pearsall had a 14-yard catch. Then Kittle had a big catch negated by an ineligible receiver downfield. But Jennings had a 5-yard catch, but Branch added to it with a 15-yard unnecessary roughness in this game. But it didn't matter, because right after that, Kirby Joseph got his second interception and returned it to Detroit's 38-yard line. And I was thinking to myself, all right, Detroit needs to go score at least a field goal to go up 2 scores with 7 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in this game. And they did. They did. Detroit handed it to Gibbs for an 8-yard run, then a 4-yard run. Reynolds a 4-yard run, then a play action to Williams was beautiful after that. And then Reynolds a 4-yard run again. Tick-tock, tick-tock. After a second missed extra point. On 3rd and 2, Gibbs had that 30-yard touchdown run. And Detroit led 40-28 after the second missed extra point with 2:58 left. So almost 3 minutes left in this game still. San Francisco had the ball, down 12. Kittle had a 7-yard catch. Gruendo had a 12-yard catch. Jennings had a 12-yard catch. The defense from Detroit was hit or miss, interception or touchdown. A 2-minute warning happened, and Branch had a 7-yard sack, his first of the season, coming out of the backfield. Jennings had a 6-yard catch, though, or 16-yard catch, so that made a 3rd and 2. Dobbs came in for Purdy. Looked like he was hurt. Looked like one of the Detroit players actually grabbed him by the face mask and put him to the ground, and that wasn't called. So, just in fairness, that was not called. But there was another play where, Laporta caught the ball and he was targeted, but that's college, not pro. So should have been an unnecessary roughness call right there. So anyway, I digress. Dobbs came in for Purdy and completed to Jennings for 9 yards, then to Kittle for 11 yards. Then he scrambled for that 7-yard touchdown right up the gut. Moody missed the extra point, and then on the onside kick, he kicked it out of bounds. It just was not Money Moody's night. So Detroit then took a knee and won the game 40-34. In another shootout. Detroit can win however you want to. I just can't wait till their defense gets back, some of them, for the postseason. So, like I said, now it comes down to Minnesota. The last game of the regular season, Sunday. This Sunday, the winner gets the #1 seed. And Detroit has worked too hard to get this amazing record to not get the #1 seed. They have never had it. Now's the time. They got to expand on that. Win in Detroit and go get me a Super Bowl. So this game was fun as hell, especially because Detroit came out on top. It was a shootout. It was scary. I don't think I've ever seen the first 5 possessions of a game go for touchdowns. And that's what happened in this one. 3-2 in Minnesota, San Francisco's favor. But Detroit still won this game. Like the video, share, subscribe. Go Lions. Let's go, baby. Win it all. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night out there. And go Blue. Beat Bama tomorrow at noon.